some of the
Sounds very
sounds,
far-reaching thinking.
and there's still from that point on is probably I guess the west side of the lake as you go down because it's challenging to access. But there are plans that we've seen from BC Timber Sales for I think 2 or 4 more cut blocks in the future along that hillside. So that's going to be a huge priority area for us just because it is one of the last largely intact blocks of old growth. There are some really significant trees and forests, I mean all over, right? But within those cut blocks over there, we found cedars that were over 10 feet in diameter. And some of the greatest plant diversity I've seen in all my years in the forest. Just like pretty much every plant you can find in the plant guide. Yeah, there's a part where it kind of came down into a flat bench and a creek was flowing through. There's a lot of seepage and water, everything growing out of everything else. Just such a special place. So
we're calling it the botanical zone. Something like that.
And you can see the machines way up in the distance, like orange at the top of the hill, and there's one loader or something working over there. I'd say the 10 or 13 most recent cut blocks really concentrated on some of the best forests that were left. That place was, I mean, there's just a little bit more rocky and steep in there, but as we head up the valley, there was a lot of the productive growing sites that were picked off.
Yeah, really big trees. And there's only more and more and more for every year. More roads to be built. Like TJ was saying, they'll go further along that slope that way.
Probably upwards of 1,000 years old.
See, stuff like that shouldn't be allowed to happen.
So when we arrived here in May of 2018, the tree that stump was still standing. It was over about 10 feet in diameter, 215 feet tall, and according to the BC Big Tree Registry, it was about the 9th widest in the province. We released a media release around that and had put that information out there, but despite that, it was cut about 2 or 3 weeks later. Such a significant tree, and today what's left is this stump. And I thought it'd be good to come here just as a contrast to the beauty that we see in this valley is also the destruction. And this tree, more than any, I think, became the central focal point and a kind of rallying cry for the need to protect old growth forests and then the mint. Very hard to find trees that big anymore, especially Douglas firs.
So these smaller numbers of big forest companies were having more and more control over the land. So to counter that, the government took back 20% of the amount that you're allowed to cut every year in order to give opportunities to these smaller logging companies that can't compete with them.
They can still remain standing and growing for many, many centuries despite having a rotten core. And with the cedars, having the hollow core is especially important for denning sites for black bears. They're finding now they're down on the South Island when they have very little old growth left, especially old growth cedars. In the CRD, they're trying to put like kind of big tubes in the forest, just things for dens for bears, and trying to figure out what they can use now that the big cedars are gone. They don't really seem to be too interested in these pretend dens. So yeah, their house is gone.
And the government tries to say, or the Ministry of Forest, that these trees are rotten and they need to come down because they need to protect loggers or whoever is around them. And it's not true. Like TJ was saying, they can stand up for centuries beyond.
And then even when even when they do die, whether they're still standing in dead or fallen, they play a really important role in the forest as well, as wildlife trees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Everything is recycled in the forest and serves a purpose.
So you cut this down. Will it start growing in another area, or that's it? It's dead now.
They don't re-sprout, so they will replant in these areas, but because of how quick the rotation cycle is of the forest, typically every 50 years they're recut again. You'll never see forests or trees like this ever again, unless you wait 500 or 1,000 years, but nobody's doing that. It's just kind of quick rotation, second, third, fourth growth forest after that.
And how far up the tree is rotten?
Hard to know. I don't recall, like it was cut into a few lengths, but it seemed really solid as you went up the tree.
Sometimes it only go a couple meters, sometimes go 10 meters.
Yeah, but like seeing the tree when it was here, I mean, it looked as healthy as say that other one over there. It had a broken top, but it was still just covered in living branches. It was just fine. The strength, of this tree, despite having that core like that, was still not going anywhere for a long time.
They just don't have any value.
No, they don't.
Yeah. So they'll might burn them.
So they take them down and then they just leave them?
Yeah.
I know a friend of mine says that they get permits to come into places like this to salvage. Yeah, and that's Warren was saying that they do salvage, right?
Yeah.
So it could be that, right?
Even Mike's team figures it might be just a napping error or something like that. The old growth came to here, but the winter rain stopped like just before the edge. Just taking it to there and going up the slope. But because it wasn't, and they just cut this, so it's up to within like kind of 10 meters of the base of that tree, which thankful. But at least before you cut it, you go more in the forest, and now it's fairly exposed. But
So
you
they're
can
not cutting in here anymore?
no, this is off limit. If you look way up in the middle, there's a real dark green, scruffy top up there.
Yeah.
Another one way up the slope up there, and then the monumental cedar here just to the left. That's such an impressive tree. Here, there's a couple marks, and going up there's a few different diagonal lines that are probably bear claw marks from one scratching the tree. They're fairly faint, but anywhere you see like those angled lines.
That is so unbelievable.
Yeah.
So the tree that we just went to look at would be like a tree like this. Smaller than this one. Centimeters.
Right?
Smaller than
We're
this.
the real big ones, just another
Oh my
short
god.
walk up.
So when these trees grow, what happens? The roots continue to spread, or do they, you know what I mean?
They
Yeah.
both, yeah.
So the roots will fan out. Douglas fir has a big tap root that will go down if it can. And they're growing out and up. And pretty tall. This one has a broken top, but it's, I'm sure, well over 200 feet. But historically, I figure Douglas fir has reached over 400 feet tall. Yeah.
They
Tallest.
might have been the tallest trees in the world. We'll
So-
never know for sure, but they might have been in North Vancouver. Oftentimes with the Douglas firs like this, their tops often break off
So-
because they're so much taller than the rest of the trees. They're vulnerable to the wind. So you often have them with broken tops. But,
Unless you have a bunch of them together.